Lauren Hopson.
Thank you, Mr. Norman and Commissioners, for asking teachers to speak today about many issues being brought up in regards to Knox County schools. A lot has been said about teachers' recent appearances at school board meetings and discussions with the media, but before I get to the topic I want to discuss, I just want you and the public to know two things. First of all, as I stated to a News Sentinel reporter 3 days ago, a statement which did not get reported in the paper, our continuing outcry may match the definition of a revolt, but many of us view our actions rather as an exercise in teachers taking back some control of our profession from non-educators and those who inaccurately claim to be educators. We are part of an education system not without faults, but one that has been responsible for some of the most important technological advances and artistic masterpieces in our history. Only when government has gradually taken more and more control away from those who are actually trained to educate have our results come under attack. After all, when is the last time the government took over anything and managed it well? Currently, money and the unbridled quest for it controls what teachers are allowed to do in the classroom, and yet we are blamed for our system's failure when the results fail to impress. Secondly, I want you to know that teachers have only taken the public route to communicate our frustrations because repeated attempts to gain some response or action within the system's chain of command were futile. Having said that, I would like to address the issue of efficient use of funds in our school system. Several years back, the state of Tennessee was awarded $500 million from the President's Race to the Top initiative. Knox County is getting some $12 million of that money over 4 years. Through Dr. McIntyre's diligent efforts, we have received numerous grants totaling in the millions over the last several years. The last one, another $8 million from the state for agreeing, I think, to have 2 observers for one of the 2 yearly required evaluations of each teacher. Since the budget posted online is not terribly specific about how dollars are used, I can't really tell you how all the millions of dollars are being spent across the county. All I can tell you is how this money has been spent or not spent to help my classroom. In the last 3 years since Race to the Top funds were received, the only thing really different in my classroom is 1 iPad, this one, and 6 laptop computers, and the iPad was paid for by my school's PTA with walkathon funds. I actually now get less classroom money to spend than I did 3 years ago. I used to receive $100 from state BEP funds and also $100 from school funds. I still get the same BEP amount, but I get $20 less now from my school. I know we got new reading textbooks next year that always come with a lot of good resources and lots of stuff we don't need that just stays in the shrink wrap until the next textbook adoption. We got new math books the year before. That, again, came with some good resources and some software that won't work on our computers. We have a scripted reading intervention program that many teachers do not feel is helping our students. Struggling readers in my class have been using it for the last 3 years and made little progress, at least judged by my test scores, but I have to keep using it. Although the state says the recent $8 million awarded to systems who double up on evaluators for score calibration this year is supposed to incur no direct cost, pay for substitutes is sometimes incurred when both evaluators happen to be classroom teachers. We are paying out untold amounts of money just for paper costs alone to administer weekly assessments to be used in data meetings. Not everybody has the technology or the training to do this online. I still have yet to receive an answer about how many thousands of dollars the school system is spending to administer the SAT-10 test to K-2 students when it is not even aligned to our curriculum, but will be used to evaluate teachers. Thousands of dollars spent on a test that is so developmentally inappropriate in parts that 7-year-olds are required to answer 45 oral math questions in a row. The students must listen to a question read only one time, not repeated, and make equations on their own to arrive at the correct answer. 7-year-olds. And they have to do this before taking a short break and starting another hour-plus long session. As I told the school board several months ago, upwards of $600,000, give or take a few absences or teachers opting for in-service credit, was spent to train teachers of technology grant schools on their new devices. Only about 12 of 60 hours were actually spent on devices, but we did learn about Twitter and Pinterest. The training on our new learning management system was so ineffective that upon returning to school, most of us did not even know how to upload grades. Hundreds of thousands of dollars are being spent on salaries for educational coaches. Some of them are great assets to their school, but some have less classroom experience than the teachers they coach. The system is spending over $1 million on the APEX strategic compensation plan that many teachers dislike for its arbitrary nature and divisive effects on teachers. Although our administration will tell you that teachers want this, I think you will find a different answer if you actually ask teachers. Teachers will not work harder because you pay them a bonus. A good teacher is already working as hard as he or she can and needs to be compensated adequately for the job they already do that extends way past contract time. More money will not make ineffective teachers better. I can tell you that there are 28 members of the central office executive and leadership team. I'm sure they all have very important jobs, but I cannot tell you how very many of them affect my day-to-day life in the classroom. I'm going to wrap it up here in just a second. Knox County is apparently paying the Parthenon Group, a Boston-based consulting firm, $350,000 a month, I believe, if I'm reading the data correctly, to advise us that it would be beneficial to increase class size and administrative support while phasing out money to compensate teachers for advanced degrees. Whether their salary comes straight from the school system or is offset by grants, that is still money not showing up in my classroom. That money could pay the salaries of 7 teachers or at least 14 aides. Other than that, I cannot tell you how all this money we have received from the state or other grants has been spent. I just know it hasn't shown up in my classroom. I and several other teachers from my school told Dr. McIntyre at a public forum his first year in Knoxville that we don't need another program or set of textbooks just because it's an adoption year. We need another person in the classroom. We have gotten other stuff, much of it unsolicited, but we haven't gotten that. Teachers were noticeably absent from budget talks last year, but as I've told many people, if additional money was being requested to lower class size or increase the number of aides in classrooms, teachers would be picketing in the streets in favor of this. My comments today are not meant to sway commissioners' opinions in any way or to necessarily have any bearing on future political decisions, but my opinion for once was asked for, and I have given it. Thank you for your time.